Cross-Reference Organizer is a plugin that's designed to help teams work together on the same project at the same time by splitting up the project into different pieces, and yet being able to see what everyone's doing via cross-referencing everyone else's models into your own workspace. I've got 3 models here. Let's pretend there are 3 people working on a project that's split into 3. I've got this site model here. I've got structure, which is essentially some floor plates and some columns, and then I've got envelope, which is notionally the shell, the envelope of the building. So this site, it's notionally got some roads on it, some not object over here, a bit of an outline of where the building structures are going to go. Now, the problem with native SketchUp is if you were going to use file import as the method by which you were to use cross-referencing, you'd run into some problems, because if you imported a couple of models into your space and then someone else tried to import your model into their space, they would re-import their own content and be superimposing it back into their own workspace. Now you can imagine that would get a bit tricky and messy if there's 3, 4, 5, 6 people working on different parts. Everyone would be basically getting multiple copies, multiple superpositions in their model, and that's the main problem that this SketchUp plugin seeks to remedy. Let me show you how it works. I'm going to introduce a cross-reference via this button here. So I want to see what the other 2 members of my team are doing, so I'm going to import model B, and I'm going to import model C envelope. So now I've got 2 cross-references. Let's do a bit of an X-ray look in there. There's a few things you'll notice straight away. One is it's green. These indicate that the models that are being cross-referenced here, the files, are up to date. The other thing is you'll notice that there's a status ribbon up here, and if you minimize the panel by pressing the ribbon, it maintains the color and it lets you know, gives you a heads up that everything in the panel right now is up to date. The color will change and you'll be able to see at a glance whether you have up to date model. If one model is not up to date, then this will go yellow. But they're both here right now, so and up to date, so they're green. Now let's have another look at what else is going on. They come in locked, so you'll see the red indicates it's locked, whereas my native content is in blue and it's unlocked. And you can see in here that in Outliner that all the content is preserved and the structure is preserved, and it comes in as an XRC component, which is cross-reference component. You'll see some integration here with Layers Organizer, another one of the plugins that we sell. And the model comes in grouped. The layers relevant to the cross-referenced file are grouped, so you can be using layer turning on and off as you would natively in the file, or the whole thing, or you can just collapse them so that you're not having to clutter your visual field with a whole lot of layers that you're not actually natively working in necessarily. If you don't have this panel, then you can still be turning the cross-reference models on and off via these visibility icons right here. Now let's go across to structure, and I'm now pretending to be person B working on structure, and I'm going to make a change and just make it a simple sort of change, and I'm going to save it. Now going back to model A again in site, it's not reflected there. It's green still. There are 2 ways that updates, the status of updates is shown. In the options, you can set a time duration, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you want, where the panel will automatically check. It'll do an auto check to tell you what the status of your models is and whether they need updating. Or you can at any time do a manual check, and that's what I'm going to do now. So I press this refresh status button, and you'll notice that the color's gone to yellow. So if it was minimized, it would just go yellow and I would notice that, and I could go into my panel like this and check out which one it is that is out of date. To update, I can do one of two things. I can update all, or simply press on the patch that I want to update. So in this instance, there's only the one that needs updating, so I'm going to press here, and it's updated the model back to green, and you'll notice that the column is reflected as big, which is the change I made in the native model as person B. Now I'm going to go into envelope, and as the person working on the envelope, I want to see what's going on site. You know, someone might be putting a tree here, and I need to know that. So I'll introduce site, and I'll also introduce structure, and here we are. They're all there. Now if I now save this and pretend I'm person A again, where I had imported the other two people's work, I'm going to do a status check, and I see that envelope has changed because as you just saw, I just changed it. Now I'm going to update it, and here's something that's key. As you can see, the two cross-references were envelope and structure. It's updated envelope because that's the one I just updated, but envelope did already have site and structure cross-referenced in it, and it's been excluded from re-importation so that I don't have multiple copies of models in my model. I just want one instance of what I'm cross-referencing, and I don't want to be re-importing site, as you can see here, into my own site model. So that's one of the key things that Cross-Reference Organizer does. Here's something else to note. Let's say I'm going to close this now, close structure, and let's say someone inadvertently picked up structure, or for some reason did it and you didn't know, and it was moved. Let's go back here. So I'm in site, I'm going to do a status check, or it does it on auto check, and I find that in fact the other color that this plugin uses is red, and red means that that cross-reference is no longer where it was thought to be. But that's okay. A simple fix essentially is pressing on the red patch, and it opens up Explorer, and my colleague has told me where they moved it, or I'm lucky enough to find it, and I navigate to the point and I relink the model, and there we are again. Now there are a couple of other things that you can do. You can, for example, unlock these components, and then you might want to unreference them, in which case it will remove the entry from the cross-reference organizer but leave the content in your model space. You may want to do this. You probably wouldn't be working natively in here. You'd be the other person working in the other model, and this is just cross-reference, but there might be a reason why you want to import it in here as a way of federating the model in the end, or whatever it might be, or you can delete it. And if you press delete, it will actually not only remove the entry from here, but will remove the content. So let's just do that, and you can see that it's removed all the layers and all of the content from the model. There's a few other things under the hood, some smarts to help this thing along, but essentially that's an outline of what this plugin is really all about.